Hi, so today I'm going to be telling you about the cover copy compare intervention um, for students in school. So, cover copy compare is an acquisition intervention. It is great for students to practice a skill. It's not necessarily the best option when they're first learning that skill, however. This is a self-management learning procedure. So, once students have been trained in this, they can do it themselves. Um, Cover Copy Compare provides them with numerous opportunities to respond and is found to improve accuracy and fluency in basic academic skills. When should you use Cover Copy Compare? Cover Copy Compare can improve accuracy and fluency for small groups or a whole class. When you're working with an individual student, however, you'd probably want to do a more intensive intervention. Cover Copy Compare has been found to be effective for students with or without disabilities in elementary, middle, and high school, and in a wide range of subjects from math, science, geometry to spelling, word recognition, and even geography. So there's a lot of empirical support for Cover Copy Compare. A review of research on this intervention from 1997 found that Cover Copy Compare was effective for students with disabilities, general education elementary students, and general education secondary students. Cover Copy Compare Geography was found to be effective for elementary students with learning disabilities and behavior disorders. And Cover Copy Compare Math was found to be effective for general education elementary students with learning disabilities, and elementary and secondary students with behavior disorders. Students may even independently generalize cover copy compare procedures to study other subjects. In this paper, they described a high school student who had learned cover copy compare for, I believe, math, and ended up using it independently to study different bones of the body for a biology test. A more recent review provided a meta-analysis of 31 studies on this intervention. Through Across the 31 studies, they had 279 elementary age participants, 26 secondary age participants, 191 participants without disabilities, and 118 with disabilities. Cover Copy Compare was found to be effective for improving both spelling and math performance. They found that implementing a token economy reward system increased student performance by reinforcing accurate responding. They found a strong effect size for both elementary and secondary students with disabilities and a moderate effect size for elementary students without disabilities. They did not find any studies of secondary students without disabilities. So, how do you implement Cover Copy Compare? You start out by providing a Cover Copy Compare worksheet for each student. You would then demonstrate the Cover Copy Compare procedure using a projector or whiteboard. The student looks at the problem and answer or the stimulus on the left side of the paper. They cover the problem and answer with an index card or by folding the paper. Then they write the answer from memory in the space on the right side of the paper. They uncover the problem and check their response. If they got it correct, they move on to the next item. If they were incorrect, they'll repeat that item before moving on to the next one. You'll then ask the students to practice the cover copy compare procedure and provide feedback as needed and praise students for managing their own learning. One of the really awesome things about cover copy compare is that it can empower students to feel that they're learning rather than being taught. And that can be something that can really motivate them and help them feel like they're doing something important and cool. So here are a couple examples of cover copy compare worksheets. On the left, we have a math worksheet. You can see that each problem is available with its answer. The student would study the problem, then cover it, write the answer to the problem in the second column. If they got it correct, they could move on. If they got it wrong, they would then try again in the third column. On the right, there's an example of cover copy compare spelling. So each of the words is available. The student would study a word, write it from memory while it's covered in the second column, compare it to the original. If they get it right, move on. If they get it wrong, try again. So now I'm going to provide a demonstration of the cover copy compare procedure.
So the student starts out with a sheet like this with the list of stimuli on the left. This could be math problems or spelling words. I'm using spelling words from the adult spelling bee, and then a blank space for them to write answers, as well as a space for them to correct their answers. So I'm going to start out by writing my name and the date, I think. All right, so first I would study the first word, then I would cover it, I would write it from memory, and compare it to the original. Since this is correct, I would mark it correct and move on to the next word. I'm now going to study the second word, then cover it, copy it, and compare it. In this case, I did not get it correct, so I would correct it. I would then study it again, cover the word, and try again. I can compare it. I see that I got it right this time, so I can move on to the next item. Study the word, cover, copy, compare, and I would keep going until I went all the way down the list.
So now that we've kind of seen how this demonstration or how this intervention can work, we can move on to how you might modify cover copy compare for diverse learners. So one of the interesting things about cover copy compare is that a lot of the research was done on students with disabilities. So we know this intervention works for them, but some modifications that you can try out if needed are accepting spoken or written responses based on a student's need. If a student has trouble writing, and the main goal is just to learn the facts, you can allow them to speak the answer aloud. Whereas if a student is unable to speak, they can write the responses. Another option is allowing a student to point to or place a token on the correct answer. This could be on a letterboard. If you're studying geography, they could be pointing to the state that matches the stimulus. Just really working with the individual students' needs. Additionally, another way to motivate students if perhaps they have trouble with executive function would be encouraging students to beat their previous scores and offering verbal praise for improvement, as well as providing class-wide incentives for behavior or performance during cover copy compare sessions. Here are my references, and thank you so much.